talk today about the two biggest social trends in the coming century and perhaps in the next 10,000 years. But I want to start with my work on romantic love, because that's my most recent work. What I and my colleagues did was put 32 people who were madly in love into a functional MRI brain scanner, 17 who were madly in love and their love was accepted, and 15 who were madly in love and they had just been dumped. And so I want to tell you about that first, and then go on into where I think love is going. What 'tis to love, Shakespeare said. I think our ancestors, I think human beings, have been wondering about this question since they sat around their campfires or lay and watched the stars a million years ago. I started out by trying to figure out what romantic love was by looking at the last 45 years of research on just psychological research. And as it turns out, there's a very specific group of things that happen when you fall in love. The first thing that happens is what I call, a person begins to take on what I call special meaning. As a truck driver once said to me, he said, the world had a new center, and that center was Mary Ann. George Bernard Shaw said it a little differently. He said, love consists of overestimating the differences between one woman and another. And indeed, that's what we do. And then you just focus on this person. You just, you can list what you don't like about them, but then you sweep that aside and focus on what you do. As Chaucer said, love is blind. I'm trying to understand romantic love. I decided I would read poetry from all over the world, and I just want to give you one very short poem from 8th century China, because it's an almost perfect example of a man who is focused totally on a particular woman. It's a little bit like when you are madly in love with somebody and you walk into a parking lot, their car is different from every other car in the parking lot. Their wine glass at dinner is different from every other wine glass at the dinner party. And in this case, a man got hooked on a bamboo sleeping mat. And it goes like this, by a guy called Wan Chen. I cannot bear to put away the bamboo sleeping mat. The night I brought you home, I watched you roll it out. He became hooked on a sleeping mat, probably because elevated activity of dopamine in his brain, just like with you and me. But anyway, not only does this person take on special meaning, you focus your attention on them, you aggrandize them, but you have intense energy. As one Polynesian said, he said, I felt like jumping in the sky. You're up all night, you're walking till dawn, you feel intense elation when things are going well, mood swings into horrible despair when things are going poorly, real dependence on this person. As one businessman in New York said to me, he said, anything she liked, I liked. Simple. Romantic love is very simple. You become extremely sexually possessive. You know, if you're just sleeping with somebody casually, you don't really care if they're sleeping with somebody else. But the moment you fall in love, you become extremely sexually possessive of them. I think that that is a Darwinian, there's a Darwinian purpose to this. The whole point of this is to pull two people together strongly enough to begin to rear babies as a team. But the main characteristics of romantic love are craving, an intense craving to be with a particular person, not just sexually, but emotionally. You'd much rather, it would be nice to go to bed with them, but you want them to call you on the telephone, to invite you out, etc., to tell you that they love you. The other main characteristic is motivation. The motor in the brain begins to crank and you want this person. And last but not least, it is an obsession. When I put these people in the machine, before I put them in the MRI machine, I would ask them all kinds of questions. But my most important question was always the same. It was, what percentage of the day and night do you think about this person? And indeed, they would say, all day, all night. I can never stop thinking about him or her. And then the very last question I would ask them, I would always have to work myself up to this question because I'm not a psychologist, I don't work with people in any kind of traumatic situation, and my final question was always the same. I would say, would you die for him or her? And indeed, these people would say yes, as if I had asked them to pass the salt. I'm just staggered by it. So we scanned their brains, looking at a photograph of their sweetheart and looking at a neutral photograph with a distraction task in between, so we could look at the same brain when it was in that heightened state and when it was in a resting state. And we found activity in a lot of brain regions. In fact, one of the most important was a brain region that becomes active when you feel the rush of cocaine. And indeed, that's exactly what happens. I began to realize that romantic love is not an emotion. In fact, I had always thought it was a series of emotions from very high to very low, but actually it's a drive. It comes from the motor of the mind, the wanting part of the mind, the craving part of the mind, the kind of part of the mind when you're reaching for that piece of chocolate, when you want to win that promotion at work, the motor of the brain. It's a drive. And in fact, I think it's more powerful than the sex drive. You know, if you ask somebody to go to bed with you and they say no thank you, you certainly don't kill yourself or slip into a clinical depression. But certainly around the world, people who are rejected in love will kill for it. People live for love, they kill for love, they die for love. They have songs, poems, novels, sculptures, paintings, myths, legends. In over 175 societies, people have left their evidence of this powerful brain system. I've come to think it's one of the most powerful brain systems on earth for both great joy and great sorrow. I've also come to think that it's one of three basically different brain systems that evolved from mating and reproduction. One is the sex drive, the craving for sexual gratification. W.H. Auden called it an intolerable neural itch. And indeed, that's what it is. It keeps bothering you a little bit like being hungry. The second of these three brain systems is romantic love, that elation, obsession of early love. And the third brain system is attachment, that sense of calm and security you can feel for a long-term partner. And I think that the sex drive evolved to get you out there looking for a whole range of partners. You know, you can feel it when you're just driving along in your car. It can be focused on nobody. I think romantic love evolved to enable you to focus your mating energy on just one individual at a time, thereby conserving mating time and energy. And I think that attachment, the third brain system, evolved to enable you to tolerate this human being at least long enough to raise a child together as a team. So with that preamble, I want to go into discussing the two most profound social trends, one of the last 10,000 years, and the other certainly of the last 25 years, that are going to have an impact on these three different brain systems: lust, romantic love, and deep attachment to a partner. The first is women moving into the workforce. I've looked at 130 societies through the demographic yearbooks of the United Nations, and everywhere in the world, except for actually 129 out of 130 of them, women are not only moving into the job market sometimes very, very slowly, but they're moving into the job market and they're very slowly closing that gap between men and women in terms of economic power, health, and education. It's very slow. For every trend on this planet, there's a counter trend. We all know of them. But nevertheless, the old Arabs say, the dogs may bark, but the caravan moves on. And indeed, that caravan is moving on. Women are moving back into the job market. And I say back into the job market because this is not new. For millions of years on the grasslands of Africa, women commuted to work to gather their vegetables. They came home with 60 to 80% of the evening meal. The double income family was the standard, and women were regarded as just as economically, socially, and sexually powerful as men. In short, we're really moving forward to the past. Then women's worst invention was the plow. With the beginning of plow agriculture, men's roles became extremely powerful. Women lost their ancient jobs as collectors, but then with the Industrial Revolution and the Post-Industrial Revolution, they're moving back into the job market. In short, they are acquiring the status that they had 1,000,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago. We are seeing now one of the most remarkable traditions in the history of the human animal. And it's going to have an impact. I generally give a whole lecture on the impact of women on the business community. I'll only just say a couple things and then go on to sex and love. There's a lot of gender differences. Anybody who thinks men and women are alike simply never had a boy and a girl child. I don't know why it is that they want to think that men and women are alike. There's much we have in common, but there's a whole lot that we do not have in common. We are, in the words of Ted Hughes, I think that we were built to be, we're like 2 feet. We need each other to get ahead. But we did not evolve to have the same brain. And we're finding more and more and more gender differences in the brain. I'll only just use a couple and then move on to sex and love. One of them is women's verbal ability. Women can talk. Women's ability to find the right word rapidly, basic articulation, goes up in the middle of the menstrual cycle when estrogen levels peak. But even at menstruation, they're better than the average man. Women can talk. They've been doing it for a million years. Words were women's tools. They held that baby in front of their face, cajoling it, reprimanding it, educating it with words. And indeed, they're becoming a very powerful force. Even in places like India and Japan, where women are not moving rapidly into the regular job market, they are moving into journalism. And I think that the television is like the global campfire. We sit around it and it shapes our minds. Almost always when I'm on TV, the producers who call me, who negotiate what we're going to say, is a woman. In fact, Solzhenitsyn once said, to have a great writer is to have another government. Today, 54% of people who are writers in America are women. It's one of many, many characteristics that women have that they will bring into the job market. They've got incredible people skills, negotiating skills. They're highly imaginative. We now know the brain circuitry of imagination, of long-term planning. They tend to be web thinkers because the female parts of the brain are better connected. They tend to collect more pieces of data when they think, put them into more complex patterns, see more options and outcomes. They tend to be contextual, holistic thinkers, what I call web thinkers. Men tend to, and these are averages, tend to get rid of what they regard as extraneous, focus on what they do, and move in a more step-by-step thinking pattern. They're both perfectly good ways of thinking. We need both of them to get ahead. In fact, there's many more male geniuses in the world, and there's also many more male idiots in the world. When the male brain works well, it works extremely well. What I really think that we're doing is we're moving towards a collaborative society, a society in which the talents of both men are becoming understood and valued and employed. But in fact, women moving to the job market is having a huge impact on sex and romance and family life. Foremost, women are starting to express their sexuality. I'm always astonished when people come to me and say, why is it that men are so adulterous? And I said, why do you think more men are adulterous than women? Oh, well, men are more adulterous. And I said, well, who do you think these men are sleeping with? And, basic math. Anyway, in the Western world, women start sooner at sex, have more partners, express less remorse for the partners that they do, marry later, have fewer children, leave bad marriages in order to get good ones. We are seeing the rise of female sexual expression. And indeed, once again, we're moving forward to the kind of sexual expression that we probably saw on the grasslands of Africa a million years ago, because this is the kind of sexual expression that we see in hunting and gathering societies today. We're also returning to an ancient form of marriage, equality. They're now saying that the 21st century is going to be the century of what they call the symmetrical marriage, or the pure marriage, or the companionate marriage. This is a marriage between equals, moving forward to a pattern that is highly compatible with the ancient human spirit. We're also seeing a rise of romantic love. 91% of American women and 86% of American men would not marry somebody who had every single quality they were looking for in a partner if they were not in love with that person. People around the world, in a study of 37 societies, want to be in love with the person that they marry. Indeed, arranged marriages are on their way off this braid of human life. I even think that marriages might even become more stable because of the second great world trend. The first one being women moving in the job market, the second one being the aging world population. They're now saying that in America, that middle age should be regarded as up to age 85. Because in that highest age category of 76 to 85, only as much as 40% of people have nothing really wrong with them. So we're seeing this a real extension of middle age. And I looked, for one of my books, I looked at divorce data in 58 societies. And as it turns out, the older you get, the less likely you are to divorce. So the divorce rate right now is stable in America, and it's actually beginning to decline. It may decline some more. I would even say that with Viagra, estrogen replacement, hip replacements, and the incredibly interesting women have never been as interesting as they are now. Not at any time on this planet have women been so educated, so interesting, so capable. And so I honestly think that if there really was ever a time in human evolution when we have the opportunity to make good marriages, that time is now. However, there's always kinds of complications in this. These three brain systems, lust, romantic love, and attachment, don't always go together. They can go together, by the way. That's why casual sex isn't so casual. With orgasm, you get a spike of dopamine. Dopamine is associated with romantic love. You can just fall in love with somebody who you're just having casual sex with. With orgasm, then you get a real rush of oxytocin and vasopressin. Those are associated with attachment. This is why you can feel such a sense of cosmic union with somebody after you've made love to them. But these three brain systems, lust, romantic love, and attachment, aren't always connected to each other. You can feel deep attachment to a long-term partner while you feel intense romantic love for somebody else, while you feel the sex drive for people unrelated to these other partners. In short, we're capable of loving more than one person at a time. In fact, you can lie in bed at night and swing from deep feelings of attachment for one person to deep feelings of romantic love for somebody else. It's as if there's a committee meeting going on in your head as you are trying to decide what to do. So I don't think, honestly, we're an animal that was built to be happy. We're an animal that was built to reproduce. I think the happiness we find, we make, and I think, however, we can make good relationships with each other. So I want to conclude with two things. I want to conclude with a worry, I have a worry, and with a wonderful story. The worry is about antidepressants. Over 100 million prescriptions of antidepressants are written every year in the United States. And these drugs are going generic. They are seeping around the world. I know one girl who's been on these antidepressants, serotonin enhancing, SSRI, serotonin enhancing antidepressants, since she was 13. She's 23, she's been on ever since she was 13. I got nothing against people who take them short term when they're going through something perfectly horrible and they want to commit suicide or kill somebody else. I would recommend it. But more and more people in the United States are taking them long term. And indeed, what these drugs do is raise levels of serotonin. And by raising levels of serotonin, you suppress the dopamine circuit. Everybody knows that. Dopamine is associated with romantic love. Not only do they suppress the dopamine circuit, but they kill the sex drive. And when you kill the sex drive, you kill orgasm. And when you kill orgasm, you kill that flood of drugs associated with attachment. The things are connected in the brain, and when you tamper with one brain system, you're going to tamper with another. I just simply say that a world without love is a deadly place. So now, thank you. I want to end with a story, and then just a comment. I've been studying romantic love and sex and attachment for 30 years. And I'm an identical twin. I'm interested in why we're all alike. Why you and I are alike, why the Iraqis and the Japanese and the Australian Aborigines and the people up the Amazon River are all alike. And about a year ago, an internet dating service, Match.com, came to me and asked me if I would design a new dating site for them. I said, I don't know anything about personality. You think you got, I don't know, you think you've got the right person? They said yes. It got me thinking about why it is that you fall in love with one person rather than another. That's my current project. It will be my next book. There's all kinds of reasons that you fall in love with one person rather than another. Timing is important. Proximity is important. Mystery is important. You fall in love with somebody who's somewhat mysterious, in part because mystery elevates dopamine in the brain, probably pushes you over that threshold to fall in love. You fall in love with somebody who fits within what I call your love map, an unconscious list of traits that you build in childhood as you grow up. And I also think that you gravitate to certain people actually with somewhat complementary brain systems, and that's what I'm now contributing to this. But I want to tell you a story to illustrate, I've been carrying on here about the biology of love. I want to show you a little bit about the culture of it too, the magic of it. It's a story that was told to me by somebody who had heard it just from probably a true story. It was a graduate student I'm at Rutgers, and my two colleagues, Art Aaron is at SUNY Stony Brook, that's where we put our people in the MRI machine. And this graduate student was madly in love with another graduate student. And she was not in love with him. And they were all at a conference in Beijing. And he knew from our work that if you go and do something very novel with somebody, you can drive up the dopamine in the brain and perhaps trigger this brain system for romantic love. So he decided he'd put science to work, and he invited this girl to go off on a rickshaw ride with him. And sure enough, I've never been in one, but apparently they go all around the buses and the trucks, and it's crazy, and it's noisy, and it's exciting, and he figured this would drive up the dopamine and she'd fall in love with him. So off they go, and she's squealing and squeezing him and laughing and having a wonderful time. An hour later, they get down off of the rickshaw, and she throws her hands up and she says, "Wasn't that wonderful? And wasn't that rickshaw driver handsome?" There's magic to love. But I will end by saying that millions of years ago, we evolved three basic drives: the sex drive, romantic love, and attachment to a long-term partner. These circuits are deeply embedded in the human brain. They're going to survive as long as our species survives on what Shakespeare called this mortal coil. Thank you.
Helen Fisher.
the lights, Willie. All our lights off. Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything that you do, and they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things that you do, and it was called yellow. Your skin, oh yeah, your skin alone, turn it to something beautiful. Do you know? Look at the stars, see how they shine. There's our little planet spinning around the sun. Someone's doing our best to hold on.
But class.
Lift off this blindfold, let me see again, and bring back the water that your ships roll in. In my heart she left out home. The tightrope that I'm walking just sways and ties. The devil, he's talking with those angel's eyes, and I just wanna be there when the lightning strikes and the saints go marching in and sing slow. It's us against the world. Like a river
job. We have an unbelievable crew. We have unbelievable families. We have really unbelievable fans. And so our job as a band is to try and become unbelievably good, and we're trying our best. I would love it if in 20 years I would look back on this and think, oh, that's when I feel like we start to become really good, or it's like the beginning of a good patch for us where we start to really be free and not worried about the people that don't like us, but really grateful for the people that do, and trying to make colourful music that they like and we like, where it's just freedom of expression. You know, I see this tour as like the last kind of shackles being thrown off of being worried about what anyone thinks. Through the course of Milo Xyloto, I'd say that as a band we're functioning better than we ever have. We've been through all the breakups and addictions and arguments and financial disagreements and Phil not being here for a bit, or not working properly together in the studio, or falling out about which hours someone likes to work or something. We're a very private band. We don't tell anyone very much. We definitely don't tell anyone about all the darker side of things, because we don't really believe in that rock and roll cliche myth thing. You know, we feel like everyone in the world, whether you work in a biscuit factory or the White House, there's things going on and struggles and issues, and just because you're in a band doesn't make that any more glamorous. Or, do you see what I'm saying? So we don't tend to focus on the negatives, but of course, like everyone else, negatives come up, but we're really lucky that we've worked out how to deal with them and help each other through them and come out the other side a bit stronger. It's wonderful. It's that chemistry that people are coming to see as much as anything else. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes a band special. You're not prodigiously talented musicians, you're not virtuosos, but you have a chemistry that no one else in the world has. So you don't fuck with it. Just by learning to sort of pick each other up, I think it feeds back into the music and into the concert in a really positive way. Sometimes it's overwhelming, like, you know, the fact that we are having the best time as a band this far in. And we have a lot of ideas about how to make the concert even better and get better songs, and at the moment there's kind of an understanding between the five of us of how we each function, and it's really amazing. It's like when people have been married for 70 years tell you, oh, you just got to work really hard at it and it'll get better. And you're like, what does that mean? Well, we're starting to kind of understand that every time we have a crisis we sort of tighten up again and move on. So in that sense, we're so blessed to have a band, because it's sort of always fixing itself. Everything feels possible when it's really so exciting to go to work every day. the end of this video with the Cadbury's button. Do they exist in the future? I don't know. Me watching back this video outtakes, are you still eating buttons in the year 2032? Or have they come up with some new kind of space food chocolate thing which you just inject through your nostril without the calories but with all the taste and flavour of that crunchy button you're about to hear now? Cheers.
What time is it in the world? And where are we going? Hong Kong? Sydney? Dublin? Sao Paulo? inside that child. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Live my day, light up my night. Put your hands in the air. Jump, jump. One more. Go with them now. Over to the edge. Over to the edge. One day you'll look back and you see where you were, how that is stuck, while you can stand there and not move on this moment. Follow this feeling. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. I'm missing love. I'm so now. She The heart is blown. It shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, traffic is stuck. You're not moving anywhere. You thought you found 3 friends to take you out of this place. Some folks you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful the sky falls and feels like a beautiful day. Thank you. And in Los Angeles, all the stars are out tonight. All the stars are out tonight. On the drums, the man who faked his own death in 1955 to move to Ireland, form U2, and then sometimes later, he still hasn't changed. Our very own James Dean, Larry Mullen, on the drums. To my left, none other than Clark Gable, the Red Butler of U2. Suave, sophisticated, frequently gone with the wind. And he clearly couldn't give a damn, my dear. Adam Clayton on the bass guitar. Now, every horror movie needs a mad scientist, and every sci-fi movie needs a visitor from outer space. And ours is just to my right. He wants to boldly go where no guitar players have ever gone before. He's Mr. Spot to us, he's the Edge to you. On guitars and everything else. As for myself, I was thinking I'm somewhere between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. A little bit of Dennis Hopper thrown in. Well, the night has come, and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't. Stand by me. And the moon is the only thing we're walking on. All right. You know, Bob Hilburn's here. He's a great writer. 70 years old, his birthday. He's got a book out, Breakfast Complex. Do you know about that?
I do.
Everybody knows birthday. He's a great writer. Is there anything you want to share with us?
Just how much he's great. Just,
Love and peace
yeah.
across the globe.
I hope so.
I'm with you. The Zen Presbyterian. He doesn't speak much, but when he does, shooter technique. Let's make some noise. We got old songs. We got new songs.
takes a surf trip into the skies. He lives on a star that's dying in the night. He follows in the trail, the scatter of light.
Commander Frank DeWitt of the International Space Station. Thank you for joining us this evening. Safe home. It was a beautiful sunrise on that morning in the holy city of Fez in Morocco. Two birds flew into our little realy. And we wrote this song. It's called Unknown Caller. For a chorus of voices. A chorus of voices. Lord, password into here, Los Angeles, California, punch it in. Password, enter. So right here. Enough of the folk masses. Judas! Haven't seen you in quite a while. It's down the hole, just killing time. Last time we met it was a loaded room. We were as close together as a bride and a groom. We broke the bread, we drank the wine. Everybody having a good time, except you. You're still talking at the end of the world. I took the money, I spiked your drink. You miss too much these days if you stop to think. You led me on with those innocent eyes. You know I love the element of surprise. In the garden, I was playing a part. I kissed your lips and I broke your heart. You were acting like it's the end of the world. Sorrows bittersweet, surrounding me, going down on me, spilling over the brim. Waves of regret, waves of joy. I reached out to the one I tried to destroy. You said you're ready to the end of the world.
less you know, the less you find out as you go. I knew much more then than I do now. Neon hard table eyes, sitting there by fireflies. They were advertising in the skies for people like us. Flashbulbs, purple irises, camera can't see. I've seen you walk unafraid, seen you in the clothes you make, and you see the beauty inside of me. What happened to the beauty I had inside of me? Blessings not just for one to kneel. Luckily, alright, the hook stuck. Alright, now. Blessings not just for the ones who kneel. Luckily, we don't believe in love. Grace abounds. Grace abounds.
Just give me what I want. I know it. Yes. Hurt. Listen Can you hear us? Iran, Radio Tehran. This is the United States calling. All who love freedom. All who love freedom. And all who don't. We're speaking to you. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? tears away. Wipe your tears away. Wipe your Sunday, bloody Sunday. Wipe your tears away, bloody Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday. Right now, our heart is with a woman who, like Nelson Mandela, like Dr. King, like the non-violent revolutionaries in the jails of Iran, a woman who has been peacefully campaigning for equality and freedom in her native country of Burma, a woman who has spent most of the last 20 years under house arrest. Her name is Aung San Suu Kyi, and we would like to send a message of love from the people of Los Angeles all the way to Burma. Rain down, she. Oh, oh, oh. Picture, take it out. You have her masks. Put them on. Let her face be our face tonight. Message of love. Aung San Suu Kyi. And if the daylight feels like it's alone, and if your lost heart should cry before the second beats of dawn, oh no, be strong. You got me, gonna steal it. suitcase for a place none of us has been. A place that has to be believed to be seen. Could have flown away, singing a bird in an open cage. Who will only fly for freedom. What's wrong with it tonight? You said goodbye. Walk on. Stay safe tonight. Well, I know it is. Your heart it breaks. You can only take so much. Walk Volunteers from Amnesty International, Burma Action, on the One Campaign is gone. And to know what it is if you never had one. I can't say where it is, but I know I'm going home. Let's spread the years. But I know it aches, the heart it breaks. You can only take so much. Walk on. Walk on. The Rose Bowl, lift her up. All that you fashion, all that you make, all that you feel, all that you break, all that you measure, all that you steal, all that you did, leave behind, leave behind. You gotta leave it behind, leave it Thank you, Los Angeles. Keep with us. We're only warming up this evening and the great piano.
The same people who marched for civil rights in the United States are the same people who protested apartheid in South Africa, who are the same people who work for peace in Ireland, and are the same people who fought against debt slavery in the Jubilee year 2000, who are the same beautiful people that I see when I look around this place tonight in 360 degrees. We are those people. We are the same person. Because our voices were heard, millions more of our brothers and sisters are alive, thanks to the miracle of AIDS drugs and malaria drugs. They will be doctors, they will be nurses, they will be scientists who will live to solve great problems. Yes, there are many obstacles. Of course, there are always roadblocks in the way of justice. But God will put a wind at our back and a rising road ahead if we work with each other as one.
Is it getting better? Do you feel the same?
that slave arrest like me. I was lost, but now I found. Was blind, but
T-minus 10 seconds.
What time is it in the world that you lift up? We are those people. We are those people. Turn on your radio. Turn on your radio.
Sometimes I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like checking out. I wanna get it right. Can't always be strong. And love, it won't be long. Sugar, don't you cry. Hey child, wipe the tears from your eye. You know I need you to be strong. And the day is dark as the night is long. I feel like trash, you make me feel clean. I'm in the black, can't see or be seen. Baby, 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 right now. Your love is like a secret that With or without you, with or without you, I can live. With or without you, yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Right now, wherever you're watching in the world, we're just going to turn the Rose Bowl into the Milky Way. So it's a little magic trick. Here we go. You can turn out my light, Willie Williams. God bless you. Well done, Alistair. In the corner, there's our little blue and green planet. Some people trying the hardest to hold on. Don't want to fall off. This song is for you. It's this moment of surrender.
Okay, here we are at the end of the video. Here you can see I start on this canvas, which I have toned down with raw umber and turpentine, and you can see that I'm kind of using gravure to sketch the first pieces of it. You have seen the whole sketching process in this video, but I kind of wanted to show you some of the process photos, and you can see how I start just very loose and then I just keep on building. And that is how I do it. I just start on the light areas and I just keep on building. I'm using the tone canvas as the first shadows in a way, and just build up light, and that is how I do it. Now, if you want to support my work, you can do that by becoming a patron. You can choose between the different tiers, and if you go for a $5, you can win my monthly Patron giveaway, which is one small painting every month to one of my patrons. Hope to see you there.